This morning, amid piles of destruction and desperation, a growing sense of shock in central Mississippi.
I know we can rebuild, but what you do with the devastation, what you do with all this?
The violent weekend of weather included at least 12 destructive tornadoes ripping through the South in states like Alabama and Georgia. This surveillance video showing the force of just one of those twisters as it slammed into a high school. For Mississippi, it's the deadliest tornado outbreak in 50 years, killing dozens, including a young father of 3 children and his daughter, who was barely 2 years old. When the EF4 tornado crashed into Rolling Fork,
in here, this is where you guys survived?
Shay Stamps rushed her 4-year-old daughter to this bedroom, taking cover under that mattress as her windows blew out.
I don't really see how all 3 of us walked out of this house alive without a scratch.
The killer tornadoes causing a trail of destruction spanning more than 200 miles, leaving thousands without power, launching cars airborne, and obliterating homes and businesses, including this entire business district in Rolling Fork.
When people say this town has been wiped off the map, they are not exaggerating. Look at this. You can't even see anything anymore. You can't even make out cars, which are on top of homes. Everywhere you look, destruction.
Mississippi's Governor Tate Reeves describing to me the moment he was told what happened and his first reaction stepping foot in Rolling Fork.
It never gets any easier to see damage like this and to see individuals who have lost their friends, lost their family, and have lost all of their personal possessions.
Among the victims, 56-year-old Mary Barfield Bush. Her family says she was killed in her bed. And this morning, many are still wondering how they survived.
We couldn't believe it.
We met Becky Miles as she was cleaning out what was left of her home. This single corner where she rode out the tornado in a bathroom, the only part left standing.
It was so loud. I've never heard anything like this. And my husband was yelling because he was being hit in the head with bricks. And it was so scary.
Do you think you stay in this town? Do you think you rebuild?
Well, yes. We're going to stay here. This is a small town, but our heart is so big in this town.
A small town with a very big heart. You're looking live now over Rolling Fork this morning. The governor tells me active search and rescue operations have ceased, but they are taking no chances because you see the mountains and the piles of debris here. So there are still searches here. There are still teams here looking for people just in case, but they think they've been able to locate everyone they were looking for so far. One thing I should tell you, volunteers have been working here since Friday night, since the tornado passed through here. We saw them working all through yesterday. And Hoda, I got to tell you, it's an incredible sight. They worked into the night until the rain started again. Back to you.
Tom, thank you. As those rescue teams carry on their work, a federal emergency has been declared to aid in the recovery and the cleanup. And joining us now is Eldridge Walker. He is the mayor of Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Half of at least the 26 deaths happened in that community, in that county. Mayor Walker, thank you for being with us this morning. It's hard to put into words what your community is going through. I know that it's a personal community, under 2,000 people. Everybody knows each other. How are you helping the residents of that area?
Well, good morning, and thank you for having us. What we're doing, we're just trying to aid our families who've been misplaced and displaced, and we're just trying to do all that we can to comfort them as best we can in spite of the situation that we're dealing with. It's sheer devastation here in the city of Rolling Fork, Mississippi, but as one of the individuals who was talking earlier said, we have big hearts. We are a resilient community, and we're going to come back. But what's most important is that we take care of our families who are in need right now.
Mayor, I understand that you're also the funeral director there in town, in Rolling Fork as well. As you've been talking with some of these families who are grieving loss, what are you telling these families? How are you comforting them?
Well, it's one of the hardest situations that I've ever had to deal with as a funeral director, with the situation being as it is, being the mayor and the funeral director. The only thing I can say to the families to comfort them is that together we can make it through this situation. by God's grace and his mercy, we can make it through. So it's sort of tough, but we're going to see this situation through. We're going to see our families through, as we always do, and as I do as a funeral director here.
Mayor, did you lose anyone that you knew, any friends?
Yes, I've lost several friends that I'm having to face their families, to arrange funeral services, and to start the first phase of closure in the loss of their loved one.
And Mayor, just finally, we see the destruction and we hear rebuilding. How do you even go about the process of starting it? I know it's very early on, but how do you envision that going forward, and what do you need the most at this point?
Well, the communities, we're at a total loss of everything, first of all. But how I see coming back, we've had good folk here in the state of Mississippi who has come to our aid, volunteers from in the state, outside of the state, and most importantly, the governor of Mississippi, our congressmen, our representatives and senators that have been here on ground, and they've committed to help this community, and having them here was just some reassurance that we're going to be okay. They've committed to help us, and we're going to work together hand in hand, because a family that prays together stays together. And right now, we're a family of this community.
Amen.
Mayor, thank you so much. We really appreciate that. We wish you all the very, very best. That's Rolling Fork Mayor Eldridge Walker. Thank you.
It's hard to get your head around the devastation there in Rolling Fork.
And you know that, like he was saying, everybody knows each other. When you've got 2,000 people, you know every single person on the streets. Yeah.
And as we said, the threat of more dangerous weather not over in the South. Al is tracking those storms for us, and it looks like they are on the move.
Yeah, unfortunately, guys, we've got flood watches, flood warnings today, stretching from Alabama on into Georgia, with these strong storms already firing up, and we could be looking at rainfall amounts up to an inch to an inch and a half per hour. Plus, we've got the risk of severe weather from Albany to Savannah, Brunswick, damaging hail, a few tornadoes possible. The problem is we got this stationary front that's just going to lay here, and these severe storms will continue today. The heaviest rain's going to be closest to the Gulf today, but tomorrow, strong storms from New Orleans to Jacksonville. Intense rainfall rates may lead to localized flooding, upwards of 3 inches locally, 3 inches of rain from Lake Charles all the way through southern Georgia. So we're going to be watching that very closely. Unfortunately, guys, later this week, we're going to be looking at more severe weather in some of the same areas. So we're going to be watching that closely.
All right, Al. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.